Seattle was a little tough. Seattle was tough. Seattle, I don't have to tell you. Seattle, they're going to beat Seattle under Pete Carroll regardless, right?
No longer though. Ironically,
no longer, right? No longer, and I don't want to say thank God, but no longer. But him coming from Seattle and coming to going to Green Bay, and again, it was funny how it happened. We were actually in Seattle for the game, and here we are sitting around, and the phone rings, and it's like 11:30 at night, and it's Green Bay.
Wow.
Yeah, and he had to catch the flight that night, and I don't even know how they got a flight out that quick, but he caught the flight and went out to Green Bay at that time. Yeah. Wow. So it was. Yeah, it's good for him because he feels like he had a better opportunity in Green Bay, I just think that his work ethic is outstanding. He's the Energizer Bunny, it's outstanding, and I think that caught the eye of some of the coaches.
What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome. As we transition now into talking about Bo and Max, I do have to tell this other story. So I grew up with Gary near the ocean, 15 miles away from like Atlantic City. But I moved an hour away right outside of Philadelphia about 14 years ago. I have only been to one high school football game in the last 25 years. And it happened to be in my local high school. My daughter was doing something in like third grade in the band. It happened to be against Gary's team, Cedar Creek. I'm like, what are the odds? I didn't even know we played them. You know what I mean? Because they're so far away.
Right.
Ironically, the quarterback is my Babe Ruth baseball coach's son. But this guy is not just my Babe Ruth baseball. He got me in my first fantasy league in 1987.
Wow.
So I thought that was weird. So then I'm like, okay, I'll watch the game. I'm scouting out. I see Bo. I knew Bo was good, potential college. I'm like, all right, I like it. Looking good. But then I see Max. And I'm like, I mean, no offense to Bo.
Yeah.
But I said to Gary, I said, well, number one, after the end of the game, I saw Gary. I said, number one, congratulations. Your sons are better than you.
Yep, that's what he said.
Number two, I got to say, I think the little guy's the real thoroughbred here. And not to toot my own horn, 7th round versus 2nd round. I mean, that's got to be tough right there, Gary. Talk about that, by the way. Like, they're not really competitive, though, are they?
Yeah, they are.
They are. Okay.
Yeah. Iron sharpened iron. So
you have like a Jason Travis Kelce thing going there, like a competitive love thing. Like, what's going on?
That's exactly what it is. And this year they have to play against one another.
Oh,
yeah, they play
first time ever.
Yep, first time.
Wow, literally from Pop Warner.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, they'll be in Green Bay playing against one another. So of course, Bo is the quieter one. Now Max, totally different story. He'll talk to you all game. He wants to get in your head, and all that other stuff. And he just has, I knew my older brother used to always tell me it's always the youngest brother that gets all of the good stuff in the end because they've watched and listened.
And that was you.
And that was me. It was me.
Totally. I'm the youngest too.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah. So Max has been able to cultivate some skills that when I knew he was good at them, I had him practice it over and over and over again. And his quick twitch is his quick twitch is a little different. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was at his 40.
Oh wow.
I was in the building, baby. I saw it live. I mean, he crushed it.
Oh, you gotta love it. Yeah. So I really felt like, I'm so glad because he wanted to be a wide receiver so bad. And I said, dude, you are a defensive back. I said, you are not a wide receiver. I know you can catch, but you are not a wide receiver, you're a defensive back. And he finally caught on to it his sophomore year in high school. And he just took it. I'm amazed at some of the things. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I'm looking at him and I'm like, holy crap, how did you get from there to there that quickly?
I mean, when I saw him, Gary, he had to be a freshman. He was by far the smallest kid on the field,
Yeah.
but he was one of the best kids on the field.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something. Yeah. He's a little different. He's a little different, man.
Oh,
He has.
and Brian, to have being able to meet both guys, he is quiet compared to Max. Max is like the alpha, like bursting like with energy, and he's just ready to go at all times. Is that
Mhm.
fair, Gary?
If you wear a huge chain that says Mad Max on it around,
Yeah.
like people are going to take notice of that. Gary, I got to ask you, they're going to play this year, but all right, you line them up. $100 bill on the line. We're laying it down right here. 4th and 10. We got to make a play. Are we getting a completion to Bo, or is Max breaking it up?
I'm going with a completion to Bo.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I'm going with a completion to Bo. Bo's got that sly look in his eye when he talks with back, and because they talk junk all the time with each other, and
Mhm.
all out of love. But Bo still has some tricks up his sleeves, and he's played against his brother a long time, and he knows what irks him. And so,
Right. Right. Well, Gary, as you told me once before, Max covered Jayden Reed before, correct?
yes,
Because
yes.
I loved Jayden Reed last year,
Oh
and I was
boy,
asking, and you told me because Bo said he was not Bo. Max said he was a handful, right?
he was a handful. He gave Max some trouble. I tell you that. And he spun him around a couple times, and I was like, "Oh boy, okay, you got a little
Mhm.
competition." And Max was so mad he didn't get an opportunity to get the get back. And
Yeah.
so,
Okay.
oh,
Payback time. Now,
yeah,
I do think it's interesting. Both of your sons, Max and Bo, they're kind of hybridy. Is that fair to say?
oh yeah, yeah, without question, without question.
So talk
Uh,
about Bo first.
mm,
That's got to be difficult to, I mean, it is for me to articulate the type of receiver Bo Melton is because I think he's still rounding into form.
mhm.
He's just got the versatility, like what is he? I mean, is he like a Swiss Army knife that can do anything you need?
Yeah, the funny part about Bo, and I'll use this as a prime example. We were playing Willingboro in the South Jersey Conference Championship.
Hmm.
We Bo to stand up end, and they couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop him. So it's great to have an athlete to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And he's running the running back down from the backside. So we really won that game because we made that adjustment and said we're not going. And they had some huge linemen at the time, and we were like, no, we're going to outspeed them.
Okay.
And it, yeah. So Bo's just an athlete. He's just an athlete. I mean, I told the coach, I said, if you put him at a strong safety, I promise you he would play strong safety.
Well, and talk about the growth that I mean, it was amazing. Like I've told you this before, but I'm kind of big on like I study like body language. Like I get all up in there.
Right,
And
right.
I'm telling you, man, like I watched him, at that Senior Bowl practice week. You know, maybe he was a little nervous. A lot of that's a tough deal.
Yeah,
But this year, like the demonstrative nature that I saw him display after making a couple of catches, like, oh snap! I was like, this is great.
yeah.
That was my observation. But talk about his ascension this year.
Yeah, yeah. It was we knew he was getting a shot against Carolina. And one of the things I told him, I said, you're still a football, you still gotta catch it. And after that, you do what you do. That's my words all the time. You just do what you do. I don't know how you just do what you do.
Yeah,
See his confidence get built up in that game was really what springboarded him to do, you
nice
know, better and better. They gave,
confidence, man. How big is that?
oh, that's huge. That's
Huge.
it's not it's and I've always Seattle was a little tough. Seattle was tough.
Yeah,
Seattle. I don't have to tell you. Seattle, they're going to be Seattle under Pete Carroll regardless, right?
Well,
So
no longer though.
no, it's
Ironically,
no longer,
yeah.
right? No longer, and I don't want to say thank God, but no longer. But yeah, him coming from Seattle and coming to Green and going to Green Bay, and again, it was funny how it happened. We were actually in Seattle for the game, and here we are sitting around, and the phone rings, and it's like 11:30 at night, and it's Green Bay.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and he had to catch the flight that night, and I don't even know how they got a flight out that quick, but he caught the flight and went out to Green Bay at that time. Yeah, yeah. So it
Wow.
was, yeah, yeah. It's good for him because he feels like he had a better opportunity in Green Bay, and yeah, yeah. I just think that his work ethic is outstanding. He's the Energizer Bunny. It's
Nice.
outstanding, and I think that caught the eye of some of the coaches.
Yeah, I mean, in his second game with the Packers against the Vikings, he caught 6 of his 9 targets for 105 yards and a touchdown. Really put him on the radar,
Yeah.
Yeah.
put him on the map right there. Well,
Mhm.
we are a fantasy show here, Gary. So let's get a little fantasy nuggets from you here.
Mm.
Jordan Love, his quarterback, is a guy that people are talking up and they're really high on. Give us some of this inside dirt here. How good can Jordan Love be?
They better get excited. I tell you that right now. They better get excited because he's a gunslinger. He
Yep.
is absolutely a gunslinger. Unorthodox in some of the things that he does, right? Which
He's
is
got a
which
little Mahomes in him, Gary.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You-
Some of the throws that he does, that little sideways things he does. I mean, how do you stop that? That's kind of difficult to stop. And
yeah.
so, but the best part about it is how he commands the offense now. It's truly Jordan Love's team.
Yeah.
Isn't no longer Rogers' team. It's Jordan Love's team, and
Mhm.
the way he galvanizes all of his teammates together, especially on the offensive side of the ball, is really quite unique.
Yeah. I've always been a fan. I actually talked with him at the combine a little bit. I thought he was a nice kid.
Hmm.
I did a video on this YouTube channel a year ago where I just laid out the map. I mapped it all out. Like, here are the pros, here are the
Hmm.
cons,
Right.
because it reminded me so much of Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the year before he took over for Favre, they needed him to get a start. And I'm like, yeah, he's good.
Right.
And Jordan Love did the same damn thing against the Eagles the year
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
But Gary, as the season progressed, it seemed to me like, again, body language, he
Hmm.
was starting to feel it. You could
Hmm.
tell that he was getting comfortable and that he was processing
Yes.
the information. And I think he's still ascending. So
Oh,
it's a little scary. Like, he could be an absolute baller. Like, he could be the NFC's Patrick Mahomes.
I agree with you 100%. Watching him in practices that I am able to go view, um, you just see it. You just
Yeah.
see it. I'm
Special.
oh, like I say, he's in his bag now. He knows he could pull out some throws that nobody's seen before, and
Yep. Yep.
he really, and then the best part is even with the younger guys that came in. I'm watching him with the younger guys. He's he's stern, but at the same time, he's like, "Yo, we can get this." Like, it's not like you got to get boom, 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 boom. No, he
Yeah.
says can get, and that makes a difference. It really does.
I'm
It makes
sure. I bet he gets along with Christian Watson because I did a nice interview with him, like sit
Mhm.
down. What a nice kid. Like that guy's a preacher's son, right? I mean, he's pretty damn good here, Christian Watson.
Yeah, yeah, he is. Christian's a good guy. He's a good guy, and we're hoping that his injuries that he has. I
Yeah.
think he gets that handled. This dude can fly. He
Oh,
can.
he
He,
commands the ball. Like
yeah,
he commands. That's a term I started 25 years ago. I'm like, he commands the ball. He's on the field. You got to get him the ball.
you got to get him the ball. You got to. You got to. And even if you take a shot, you got to take that shot to keep the defense off honest. And so he's the guy that does that. And yeah, I think the receiving core as a whole, is pretty
Great.
solid. Bunch of
Really
them,
good.
and they feed off of each other. I love that. They really feed off of each other. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
And I love how the Packers are all about the Senior Bowl. Every one of these dudes is at the Senior Bowl, including your son. They didn't even draft your son, but they probably were inclined to get him because, like, oh, you know what? I remember him at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. 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 That's the truth. That's the truth. So it's it's the Green Bay is so different, and I this is just my own opinion.
Yeah.
Green Bay is Egg Harbor, but it's a big stadium in the middle of
Yeah. It
it.
is. Wow. They're playing a key wreck.
Yeah, right. That's right. They're playing that key wreck. I'm telling you, I say it all the time. I go to Green Bay, I'm like, oh, this is like Egg Harbor.
I
I'm
mean,
I'm
same
down.
color.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
were green.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Wow.
Man. So Max is out in Arizona. He likely could start this year. He in OTAs was matched up with Marvin Harrison Jr., another second generation guy. His father, the Hall of Famer. And what have you heard from Max about Marvin Harrison Jr.? Because us guys in fantasy, people are taking him I don't know if you're a fantasy guy at all, but they're taking him at the end of the first round. What is he
Yeah.
saying about Marvin Harrison Jr. and the skill set from this kid?
Yeah.
Well, it's quite obvious Marvin Harrison probably is the best receiver in the whole draft class. Max has gone against Marvin now, I don't know, 2 or 3 times.
Because they
And
played in the Big Ten.
oh yeah, played in the Big Ten, has held him, held him at bay. He's done great
Nice.
against. Yeah, done great against them. I think the last time he played at Rutgers, Marvin had like 25 yards receiving, and and that's max on them. So I'm happy that they're going against each other. And even Marvin Harrison, had said something at one point that that these two battling against each other is going to be a great thing. It's only going to make them all better. And
Nice.
so, but Marvin is look, he's a freak of nature. It's, I don't care. He can break one at any moment, at any time. He's that type of receiver, and he runs such clean, precise routes. His transition is so smooth that you can't tell if he's breaking or if he's actually trying to blow past you. And that's the most impressive thing for me as I'm watching him.
That's a thoroughbred right there, man.
Oh yeah.
That's just like elite here. And then Max, again, the hybrid stuff. Like, is he a safety? Is he a nickel corner? What do you think it's going to eventually be here? I do worry about some of these hybrid guys because sometimes you're a man without a continent when
Right.
you don't have much to hang your hat on. You're good at a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Well,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping for my best case scenario is that they keep him on the outside. I wouldn't want. Yeah, I would want him to be on the outside because I think number one he can handle it. Number two, if he's doing that for the whole year, that's just more reps. That's just him seeing more and understanding more. And he is a true student of the game. Max studies that playbook. He studies film. He loves doing it. That's just what his thing is. And I'm sure he's chopping it up and with Marvin and saying, "Hey, why are you making this break at this moment?" Everything's on the field is, hash mark, numbers, end zone. And I'm hoping. I told him, I said, hey, look, get with those receivers and ask them. Just ask them. They're on your team. Why are you bending this way on the numbers, or why are you doing, so forth, so on. And he's learned that from high school. I taught him about the hash marks and the numbers and the distance from the so forth, so on, and what they can do and what they can't do. So he knows how to take things away.
Nice. So would he be a press man corner? Or is he or more of a zone guy?
Nah, you know what? I don't like him in zone quite yet. I like him in press man corner. In zone, I think he gets every so often he peaks too much. Just a little bit of a peak. That's all.
Yeah. It's hard not to look.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. So I like him. I've always liked him in man. He does better in man, but I'm sure they're going to see, what he actually can do. And like I said, playing nickel right now, you know, it depends on the team. It really does. It
Hey,
depends
that
on
could
the
be. Hey, Jalen Ramsey was playing nickel for the Rams the last year he was there.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. You're right. So yeah, it's a tough call. It's a tough call. And I'll be honest with you, with the new coaches that are in there and things of that nature, you know, looking at what they did last year is not even beneficial to me because it's all
Yeah.
changed. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, I got a good vibe on the Cardinals. I mean, the
I have,
organization. I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, we it is what it is. But I
yeah.
gotta tell you, I like Monty Ossenford. This guy's like a freaking out there doing business, man.
Right.
And then Jonathan Gannon seems a little cocky, but it seems to be working. You know, like I kind of like the vibe in Arizona. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love the fact that Gannon's cocky. I love it. I think it's great. And I think the yin and yang of what they're going to be as with general manager and coach, I think it's going to work out great. And I think just me, I think they have one of the best draft classes in the whole draft.
I mean, Trey, you come out of there with Marvin Harrison, Trey Benson. I mean, right there. And then your son, boom. I mean, I'm sure others too, but yeah, they and that kid Raymond, the tight end. And by the way, speaking of tight ends, I don't know how much Max has dealt with Trey McBride, but Trey McBride was a Senior Bowl guy. I believe it was there with your son. I don't know if
Hmm.
they were. Yeah, he was.
He was. He was. Yeah.
I came back and I reported on what I saw. I'm like, this freaking Trey McBride man is good. Like I'm no scout,
Uh
but
huh.
trust me, he's good. And
Yeah.
he is. That guy
Yeah.
was open. He has got to be the greatest guy ever because he's come through some adversity, I guess, but he
Oh yeah.
just seems like the greatest guy ever.
Yeah. 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 I watched him. I thought he was the steal of the whole thing. To be honest with you. I thought he was when I was watching him at Senior Bowl. I was like, "Holy crap, this guy can play."
He was winning on every rep.
Every single rep, every rep. I think people were moving out of line so they didn't have to go against
Yeah.
him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, and then I'm like, oh, this is scouting. This is easy. Wait. I just threw on in here. Oh yeah, Trey McBride, stud,
yeah,
stud. This is easy. Well,
yeah,
some guys make it look easy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There you go.
All right, final segment here. Gary Melton, thanks for spending so much time with the guru and myself talking about your boys and your life growing up in New Jersey and these fun stories of you and John breaking his glasses on the playground, a dozen times as a kid. And this is something as a coach coming up through the years, I'd love to get your perspective on. And a lot of guys, I'm sure, and girls listening to this show right now, their kids are playing sports. And a big thing now is specialization. If you're in Little League, people say, oh, we want you in the travel league and you're going to go year round and play sports. I've always kind of thought that maybe it's better to diversify, play a little football, play a little basketball. You don't have to be at 10 years old dedicated to one sport, in my mind. As someone who's coached it and, your sons are at the highest level of their profession now, what's your thoughts on youth athletics and what we're seeing now with the specialization of these kids?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of specialization at all. I'm not. I really feel like even if a kid is I'll just shoot something. Even if they're a great baseball player, right? There are muscles at some point that they're going to have to learn to use also, and not just muscles geared towards baseball. And so, I was really about a holistic approach to everything. That
Mhm.
if you if you play football, you can play basketball. If you play basketball, you can play baseball. You might not be the best at it all, but at least you're utilizing different muscles and understanding different situations. The mental aspect of each game that you're playing is most important because you watch basketball players today, and this is just me getting on my high horse right now. The youngsters that's playing basketball today that only play basketball are the worst trash talkers, are the worst, getting the most texts, because they just are specialized to that one area. You
Yeah.
take them out of
They're
that,
all in.
yeah, yeah. You take them out of that setting and put them in another one, they're not successful at all because
Right.
they don't know how to handle the adversity of going to something different and realizing that you might be good at that too. But since they're specialized, they never get that opportunity. And let's face it, there's only what, 10, 12 people on the basketball team. All
Right.
right. And there's 9 million people that want to be a part of that 10, 12. It's I just don't like it because I don't think it gives you the opportunity to optimize all of your strengths as an athlete and be able to use different muscles in
Yeah.
different situations. And so, no, I'm not a fan. Not a
Well,
fan.
Gary, we can end on this, and we really thank you for your time. Not to dispute any of your claims here, but I would argue when I was growing up, I could play football, I could play baseball, I could not play basketball, sir. Okay, I sucked at basketball. I mean, I one day I'd come in and I'm draining threes. I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
got it. Next day I can't hit a thing. So I was that guy where I could not do the basketball, but.
Okay, you're
Oh, by the
not.
way, it's probably your fault because we did not have there was no way to play basketball basically until 7th and 8th grade, right?
Yep, yep, you got it.
And I broke my leg, as you recall,
Yeah,
very badly, knocked me out of 7. By the time I'm 8th grade, I'm like, what? There's 10 spots. What am I gonna? I never played before. I mean, forget it. It's over. So thanks,
right.
Gary. You ended my basketball
Yeah,
career. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man.
This has been great, Gary. I hope I didn't make it too weird. Pumping you up a little bit, but I'm very proud to know you and your family, and it's been awesome. It's been fantastic. I've just been tickled for a year or two now to see all this come to fruition. So we wish good luck and good health to Bo, and of course Max as he. I mean, works on Marvin Harrison in practice every week. I mean, that's going to be training. That's going to be awesome. So we really appreciate it, Gary. You're the man.
and no, no, thank you guys. I appreciate you, John, always. You know what? You've been a lifelong friend, and I was happier, and I'll just say this: when we went to the Haddonfield game, that I saw you rather than the game. I was like, oh man, this John. It's like,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
I felt the same way too. It was so cool. Yeah, that was
Oh, it was
awesome.
so cool. It was so cool. Yeah. So I'm so appreciative, so proud of you and all that you're doing and the work that you're doing here. And look, you're the guru, man. And when someone said, do you know the guru? And I was like, yeah, I know him. I grew up with him. I felt a sense of pride. And
There you
so
go.
thank
Just
you
make
for
sure you tell them that I could run and I could catch. You
yeah,
know, I'm open, baby. I got
yeah,
those
oh,
hands. I'm ready.
you got it. You
All
got
right.
it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
For Trey, our producer, Gary Melton, and the Guru, I'm Drake. We'll see you next time, everybody, for the Fantasy Points podcast.